Without mindfulness, he will not achieve success. He will fall and scramble up again, over and over, until he finally abandons the practice in the belief that his faculties, indriya, are not strong enough. The main principle of skill in inducing, developing, and guarding the sign consists in controlling instantly all fluctuating and unstable states of mind. 4. Exerting the mind when it should be exerted. The word when is small but full of importance. The meditator must know just the right time to exert the mind. He must not exert the mind at a wrong time, nor be even a moment late. He must be quick to observe and know what has arisen and what is to be done. And when a particular condition has arisen, he must know whether to exert the mind, or to subdue it, or to encourage it, and so on. In the case of anapanasati, exerting the mind means vitalizing it when it becomes slack and has not enough power to attain full concentration. To understand properly the technique of exerting the mind, it is necessary to study the factors of enlightenment. The factors of enlightenment, or sambojjhana, are 7 in number. They are called factors of enlightenment because taken together, they constitute the complete path to enlightenment, the highest wisdom. These 7 factors are mindfulness, sati, investigation of dhammas, or mental states, dhammavikaya, energy, viriya, rapture, or joy, piti, kama, tranquility or mental calm, pasati, concentration, samadhi, and equanimity, upekkha. The 6 factors of enlightenment, apart from mindfulness, can be divided into 2 groups. The first 3, investigation of mental states, energy, and joy, have the quality of vitalizing the mind and thereby uplifting it. The last 3, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity, have the quality of subduing the agitated mind, of diminishing its surplus energy. As we are here concerned with the exerting of the mind, we shall discuss the 3 factors of the first group.
The meditator must develop these 3 factors whenever the mind becomes slack, even at the very beginning of the practice. As always, mindfulness must be applied throughout. The meditator must, for instance, be mindful from the very beginning in order to know. Now the mind has become slack, to inquire what factors are to be applied to rid the mind of this slackness. And how can these factors be maintained, and, finally, to know when the mind has become free from its slackness. The meditator has to be like a clever gardener who has the ability to select and pluck flowers in a garden so large and so full of flowers that the unskilled person would have no idea which flowers to pluck. Only a clever person with an understanding of flowers can make the choice successfully and derive benefit from it. Selection implies examination. Unless one examines thoroughly, one cannot know how or what to select. So in practice, Dhammavikaya consists in analyzing states of mind in detail and selecting just what is needed in any particular circumstances. If the mind is slack, there may be several causes for this. It is necessary, therefore, to examine in order to find out the real cause and select a suitable cure for it. One kind of slackness may require that the meditator call on someone else's knowledge and insight. Another kind he may have to examine and remedy by himself again and again until he meets with success. In the text, the following 7 techniques of Dhammavikaya have been given for general use. A. Asking questions. If need be, one should ask questions of a good friend as a means of weighing up one's own ideas. B. Creating favorable physical condition. Already discussed under anapanasati. 1. Here this means keeping body calm and mind clear.
C. Balancing the 5 mental faculties. Anapanasati. 2. Balancing the faculties. As well as being useful in speeding up the arising of full concentration, is also a means of inducing Dhammavikaya. It is used for this purpose if the direct speeding up of full concentration is not successful. D. Completely avoiding ignorant and stupid people. E. Associating only with men of understanding. Understanding here means understanding of the teaching, especially its aspects. F. Intelligent consideration of mental states, dhammas, so as to understand them fully, or at least find the solution to some specific problem. G. Cultivating the habit of investigating and examining mental states as a long-term practice. When these 7 techniques are applied, the Dhammavikaya Sambojjhana is firmly established. slackness of mind will then be overcome and the meditator will have the inspiration to practice further. 2. Energy, Virya Samujanga. The word Virya means energy, effort, but here it includes the characteristics of steadiness and determination, by virtue of which the meditator advances in the practice without yielding. This mental energy and steadiness is also opposed to slackness of mind, but in a different way. If there is slackness, there is no energy, and vice versa. To overcome slackness, the meditator must develop energy, arouse determination, by means of suitable reflection. The techniques commonly used and recommended are as follows. A. Reflect on the dangers of lacking energy, as a result of which one sinks back into the heap of suffering and is doomed to experience suffering over and over again, endlessly. This is called seeing the danger of sasra. B. Reflect clearly on the benefits of possessing energy. When I have perfected it, I shall be free from suffering. Reflecting in this way generates determination. C. Reflect on the path shown by the Buddha, which one is practicing.
This path is the best, there is no other way, or if there is, it is no better than this. D. Reflect on one's indebtedness. A person practicing Dhamma, especially a bhikkhu, has no way of earning a living by himself. He has to depend on others for the 4 requisites to life, thus he is in debt, and he will clear his debt only when his practice is crowned with success. While he is reflecting in this way, energy for the practice arises at once. E. Reflect on the Buddha as teacher. I have the best teacher in the world. I ought to have the highest regard for him and for the Dhamma taught by him, which is flawless and likewise the best. I must follow him earnestly. F. Reflect on being heir to the Dhamma. It is indeed a great piece of good fortune to be the heir of such an excellent teacher of Dhamma, since no heritage is higher than this one. What else is there to aspire for? Reflection along these lines is another way of making one value one's practice highly. G. Practice perception of radiance or light. This means making the mind clear and luminous as if there were bright sunshine, even if it is in fact a pitch black night, or if one has one's eyes shut. To have previously developed the light Teja may be of great help in this respect. Such practice is directly opposed to mental slackness. It prevents the mind from becoming lethargic and dull, and gives the meditator encouragement to practice. H. Avoid lazy people and anything conducive to laziness. Associate only with diligent people and with things conducive to diligence. K. Reflect constantly on all the various virtues of energy. L. Cultivate the habit of being energetic as a long-term practice. When the meditator practices in this way, the enlightenment factor of energy arises and becomes firmly established, and slackness of mind is eradicated. Whereas investigation of mental states, Dhammavicaya, uplifts the mind so that it sees, full of hope, the way ahead. Energy exerts the mind to follow that way.
This is how the functions of these 2 enlightenment factors are related. 3. Joy, Piti Sambojjhanga. As mentioned earlier, joy means delight and enthusiasm arising out of one's own practice, or out of respect for oneself for doing what ought to be done, realizing what ought to be realized. This serves as yet another stimulus, opposed to slackness and lethargy, and directly reinforcing energy. The means commonly used and recommended for inducing joy are as follows. A. Recollection of the Buddha. B. Recollection of the Dhamma. C. Recollection of the Sangha. When this and the 2 preceding recollections are practiced sincerely, joy arises with regard to the virtues of the Triple Gem, and in its turn, the power of this joy reinforces the meditator's determination. But of course, if he practices these recollections only verbally, so that the virtues of Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha do not truly permeate his whole being, none of these beneficial results appear. D. Recollection of morality. Reflecting on morality, in particular on one's own moral purity, brings a strong feeling of self-respect and inspiration. It brings inner joy, which further reinforces determination. E. Recollection of liberality. Recollection of liberality, especially of one's own acts of generosity, gives rise to feelings of self-respect and joy, just as does recollection of morality. F. Recollection of radiant beings, This means recollecting the virtues that lead to the state of a radiant being. Prominent among these virtues are conscience and abhorrence of evil, which make a person happy and lustrous, a radiant being. Reflecting on the effects of such qualities fills the mind with joy in the Dhamma, which in its turn reinforces mental energy. G. Recollection of peace. Here the meditator reflects on the quality of peace, on the mental states conducive to peace, and finally on the value of the highest peace, nirvana, so that he comes to see clearly how it can be attained. This brings joy, resulting in great encouragement and determination. It has the same beneficial effects as recollection of the Buddha, and so on. H. Cultivating joy as a habit. Making it a long-term practice to become familiar with the quality of joy means being at all times cheerful, buoyant, determined, persevering, full of confidence and hope. Once this habit has been successfully developed, the factor of enlightenment called joy is firmly established, and in time eliminates all slackness of mind. To sum up, investigation of mental states arouses the mind by enabling it to see the way leading to success, and thereby greatly encouraging it. Energy activates the mind, giving it the strength to progress along that way. And joy reinforces energy, ensuring that it is maintained continuously, without interruption. By coordinating these three factors of enlightenment, the meditator can readily exert and stimulate his mind to the extent required, and finally, at the stage of apana, attain absolute one-pointedness. 5. Subduing the mind. When it needs to be subdued, generally the normal mind is so restless that its restlessness manifests physically, body and mind being interdependent. Calming this restlessness of both body and mind is the duty of the remaining three factors of enlightenment, namely tranquility, passaddhi, concentration, samadhi, and equanimity, upekkha. All these three have the function of pacifying the mind, fixing it firmly, and making it resolute and calm. They are all interrelated closely, each one affecting and being affected by the others. Still, they can of course be considered individually and developed separately. 1. Tranquility. Tranquility means quietness, stillness, a state produced by the gradual pacification of restlessness and agitation. Just as restlessness is both physical and mental, so also there are two kinds of tranquility, bodily and mental. The following are the methods recommended for developing tranquility.
A. Producing, Sovanna. B. Increasing, Bahilakata. C. Investigating skillfully and appropriately, Yonisomanasika. All three of these lead to tranquility of both body and mind. Sovanna means causing something to arise, Bahilakata means increasing it by repetition, and Yonisomanasika means taking it to heart and reflecting on it wisely until one has come to understand rightly and perceive clearly all the phenomena involved in each and every step of what has been practiced. These three processes are interrelated at every stage of the progress. Thus, first the meditator makes an effort to observe restlessness and its cause, and practices the technique for producing calm, and whatever degree of calm has been so produced he then carefully maintains by repeated practice. D. Natural environment, heat or cold, open or cramped space, beauty or unsightliness of scenery all affect the tranquility of the mind. Surroundings that are noisy or unsightly or offensive to the nose are harmful to tranquility of mind and should be avoided. E. Food. The meditator should take only food that is conducive to bodily and mental tranquility, such as vegetables, which have a greater calming effect than meat, fish, and so on. He should also eat in a manner conducive to tranquility. F. Posture. Postures conducive to tranquility are ones that tend to counteract restlessness and agitation. The prone position conduces to restlessness, while walking does just the opposite. The meditator should not make any effort, physical or mental, that is beyond his capabilities or inappropriate to time and place. The principle here is to be neither too tense nor too lax. Here, as above, just what is suitable depends on individual characteristics. H. Avoiding restless people. J. Associating with people who possess tranquility of mind.
K. Making tranquility a habit. Practicing all these 10 techniques, the meditator gains tranquility of body and mind in a gradual, orderly fashion. The important point is always to be very careful, resolute, and persevering. The whole thing must be done very delicately and at the same time with great patience. 2. Concentration. Samadhi Sambhojagga concentration as a specific enlightenment factor consists in skill in inducing the state of full concentration. It is not just general concentration, which is what the meditator has been practicing all along. In fact, at the present stage of the practice, concentration has become stuck. The Samadhi Sambhojagga has to be used as an instrument to remove the obstruction as well as any future ones, to push the practice further. Still, this specific factor, concentration, is so closely connected with general concentration that the two cannot be separated and must be practiced simultaneously. For example, the mental image that has appeared still has to be protected in the ways already explained. Despite this, it is classed as a separate and distinct factor of enlightenment so that it can be dealt with in detail. The things to be practiced in this case are as mentioned before: A. Producing, B. Increasing by repetition, C. Skillful investigation. All these three are involved in the sign of either tranquility meditation or insight meditation, as the case may be. The essential point is to induce concentration carefully, maintaining it by practice and wise reflection as discussed under tranquility. In addition, the teachers of old have recommended the following: D. Developing the 10 kinds of skill, anapanasati, as for full concentration, and E. Making concentration a habit. Concentration must become an integral part of the meditator's makeup, so that he is always in the mood for practice. 3. Equanimity, upekkha sambhojagga.